I bought a bunch of replica football kits so you don't have to. Now you may be wondering, why replica football kits? Why not the authentic versions? Mate, have you seen how much the real things cost? You're telling me I need to fork out at least $176 just to get one of the new Chelsea kits, not including shipping? But that's just the Premier League, right? They tend to be a little bit more expensive. I don't think so. And don't get me started on teams with an even bigger worldwide fan base like Barcelona. You can get some pretty good deals for decent prices at authentic reselling shops like classic football shirts, but some may not be in the best condition, and they're all subject to availability. Don't get me wrong, if the prices were more affordable, I'd be way more willing to get these genuine kits just to support the clubs that I love. But it's all a business now, isn't it? So here's where we are. I personally do not mind these fake replica kits, and I'm not saying you should be as well. It's entirely up to you. But hey man, I'm saving myself so much money from getting these. Either way, reps have kinda come a long way, and a lot of these reps tend to look pretty close to the genuine thing. I get most of my rep kits from a site called Jersey JJ. They've been my go-to vendor for quite a while now, as they've been pretty consistent with what they've been putting out. They've got a decent range of kits, and the price is pretty affordable. Premier League teams? Got you covered. La Liga? Also there. Are you more into the classic retro kits? They've got plenty of options, and whatever the hell these are. All the kits in this haul were from Jersey JJ themselves. If you'd like to check them out, I'll leave a link to their store in the description below. Also, when we go through the pricing on the website, I'm just gonna leave it at Chinese yuan for now, because this seller is based in China, and the conversion rates kind of fluctuate from day to day. But not to worry, I'll have the conversions on screen as we talk about them, in the currency of my home nation, Australia,
Succulent Chinese meal.
Great British Pounds, and US dollars. And just to clarify, I love collecting kits, but I'm not exactly a kit expert, so I'm not going to be able to point out every single mistake that any of these replica kits may have. And when I give these kits a score, I'm going to be keeping in mind that these are replica kits. They are a fraction of the price of the real thing, and I'm fully aware that these will not be replicated 100% perfectly. If anything, I'd be really surprised if they were 100% recreated perfectly. This is all my own opinion anyway, so I'll leave it up to you what you want to think about it. Anyway, onto the haul. So we've got our first kit here, which is the England 1996 home kit used during the Euros for that year. It is a sleek white buttonless polo style kit with a navy v-neck collar and a centralized England crest and kit sponsor embroidery. I used to think England kits were kinda boring until I got a little older and more appreciative of the vintage pre-2000s Umbro kits, which England has plenty of. Now I kinda done goof with the audio while recording this video, so you can see me trying to speak into the microphone while I tried it on this first kit. But yeah, I realized eventually, and I just stopped speaking to the microphone after this kit, so I'll just have to overlay everything. I hope you guys don't mind, a little whoopsie from me. Coming back to the kit itself, it's a pretty good replica. The fabric is much thinner than the authentic kits, but that's going to be common amongst retro replicas anyway. They've recreated the jacket lines that run down the entire kit pretty well, although it's not 100% centered on properly, as you can see in comparison to where the tip of the v-neck collar is and the centralized badges. The England crest does look pretty accurate, and so is the Umbro embroidery. However, the v-neck collar was not replicated well. The width of the outer overlap of the V should expand wider as it gets to the tip of the V and kinda curves down, as you can see in comparison with the actual authentic kit. On Jersey JJ, this kit costs 112 Chinese yuan without name and number, or at the time of recording roughly converts to $24.22 AUD. In comparison to the authentic version of these kits that you can get online for, at the time of recording, a minimum of 250 AUD to as high as over 800 AUD depending on their condition. Overall, this replica is pretty decent. The v-neck collar is the only flaw in the make of this kit, which might not be that noticeable to people who aren't familiar with this kit anyway. I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10 as a replica kit. Next up, we've got Italy's 1992 to 1994 home kit. This kit was used during the Azzurri's qualifying stage of the 1994 World Cup, as well as throughout the tournament itself. It's a beautiful deep blue polo style strip with patterns of the Italian crest of the 90s running all over the kit. It's got the iconic green, white and red triangles that reflect the Italian flag along the sleeve cuffs and the collar fold. This replica looks to be pretty spot on. The patterns look convincing, and the button on the collar seems pretty decent. In terms of material quality, it is a little bit thicker than the England 96, which makes it feel a little bit more durable, so that's a bonus. As a Chelsea fan, I've also got club legend Gianfranco Zola on the back, and the name set looks pretty perfectly placed as well. At the time of recording, this kit also costs 112 Chinese yuan on Jersey JJ. And as I got a name and number on the back, that was an additional 15 yuan, which brought it up to a total of 117 yuan, roughly converting to $27.47 AUD. The price for an authentic version kinda varies. Lowest looks to be just over 100 AUD and the highest is around the mid 400s. I'm really happy with this replica as a whole. They've managed to recapture pretty much all the details on this kit pretty well, and I get to rep Zola on the back. I really can't ask for more. As a rep kit, I give it 10 out of 10. I don't think anyone would think that this is a replica unless I've completely missed something. Next up, we've got a long sleeve version of the England 1996 away kit. And just like their home kit, it was used during their Euro 96 campaign. I'm not the biggest fan of grey kits personally, but this classic England kit is too clean. The grey stripes just suit an England away kit super well in my opinion, despite red being their usual away colours. It's got a unique style of collar and button that was pretty predominant on Umbro kits around that time, and just like the home kit, the England crest and kit manufacturer embroidery is on the centre. It's a pretty decent replica, though the material is kinda different to the home kit, as the material is not as thin and feels a little heavier upon wearing. The neck hole looks a little big and feels kinda stiff upon wearing, but it should soften down after a wash or two. What I find a little weird is that the Umbro and England text are laser printed onto the fabric instead of embroidered, which is usually the case on pre-2000s Umbro replica kits. But if the authentic kit is meant to be this way, then please let me know. As I said, I'm not a kit expert, I just love collecting kits. On Jersey JJ, this kit also costs 112 Chinese yuan despite it being a long sleeve, which is something interesting I've noticed about Jersey JJ, as all their long sleeve variants of the kits are at the same price as the short sleeve versions. The 96 England away looks to be around the same price as its home kit as well, though it can go as low as 100 AUD, but also as high as over 800 AUD. Overall, it's a pretty decent replica kit. They've got the details down pretty well, however, the weird collar and I'm not too sure about the laser printed Umbro and England text, so I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. Moving on, we've got the Scottish 1992 home kit. This kit was used during the Euro 92 campaign and the qualifying stage for the 1994 World Cup. Alright, I'm gonna be real, this was kind of a random cop, as I doubt most would go for a Scotland kit unless they've got Scottish roots. But I simply love the design of this kit. It kinda makes me wanna throw it on immediately, run outside and scream, SCOTLAND FOREVER! Anyway, the Scottish navy blue paired with the patterns on the kit are exquisite, and I do love a good polo style kit. I kinda like how there are only stripes on one sleeve, so it makes the kit look a little asymmetrical. And the Scottish crest is also made out of some hard-ish matte plasticky type of material that I'm not too sure what it is, but I don't usually see it on replica kits. It kinda does give it a little bit of a premium feel to it. And what I find funny about this kit is that they've actually replicated the official replica of this kit instead of the authentic one, as you can see on the tag. In terms of pricing, it's the same as everything else we've seen so far without a name and number, 112 Chinese yuan. Not too many of these seem to be sold online. Most look around the $250 to $350 range, and someone on eBay has prices at a whopping 4.5 grand. I really like this rep kit, the material and the make of the kit seem great. I don't see any flaws unless I've completely missed something, so yeah, 10 out of 10 for me. Next up, we have the AC Milan 1995 to 1996 fourth kit. I believe this is the very first blue kit AC Milan has ever had, and I think they've only ever released one more blue kit during the 2020 to 21 campaign. Visually, this fourth kit is absolutely stunning. I love the contrast of the paler blue colours against the red and black highlights around the kit, and I think it's a nice change of colour, as we are very used to this side of Milan only wearing red, black and white. Now on first glance, this replica kit actually looks pretty fine. They've got the patterns and details pretty spot on. But similar to the England away kit that we looked at earlier, some of the front of kit stuff is laser printed on. Now here are some striking concerns about replica kits. There will be some bad batches, and if you're unfortunate, you might get one that has a flaw in its make. As you can see here, the collar is not centered, and it is quite noticeably skewed towards the left side of the kit. The quality of the material on this kit also feels a lot cheaper than everything else we've seen so far. There's also this weird little stain at the front of my kit which I can't exactly remove. I can't tell if it's just dried up glue or the slightest of burnt patches on the fabric. It's not really that noticeable, but it pains me to know that it's there. In terms of pricing, yet again it's the same as everything else we've seen so far. This kit seems to be quite rare. Most of the ones being resold online are the official replicas by Score Draw, and those go for around the just over 100 AUD mark. but the few authentic ones that I see seem to be around 500 to just under $1,000. This rep is unfortunately the most disappointing one we've seen so far. It is a shame because the design and patterns seem to be replicated pretty well, but the fact that the front of kit sponsor is laser printed, the collar is not scented, and with the little stain at the front of the kit, yeah, just not too happy with this one. It's a 4 out of 10. Only just cause they got the patterns right. Staying on the red side of Milan, we've got their 1997 to 1998 special edition away kit. It is a one-off design specifically for, you're gonna have to excuse my pronunciation here, the Copa Centenario de Belo Horizonte campaign that AC Milan competed in during that season. That campaign also had a special 3rd and 4th kit in black and red respectively, but the white away kit is by far my favorite. This is an extremely beautiful kit. The red, black and whites go so well, which is so iconic to AC Milan. I love the patterns on the sleeves that's made out of the Lotto logo, and the jackets of the club crest running along the entire body of the kit. It was a no-brainer to get club legend and one of the greatest defenders of all time, Paolo Maldini, on the back. And the name and number looks well placed as well. Unfortunately, something that wasn't well placed is the Lotto official garment tag. As you can see, it looks pretty crooked. The price at the time of recording on Jersey JJ, you guessed it, 112 yuan. I can't seem to find anyone reselling this kit specifically. However, there are a couple of the 3rd black kits on classic football shirts, and they go for either 250 AUD or 400 AUD. Overall, this replica is pretty good. It's got the pattern and designs right, the make of the kit seems pretty good as well. The material isn't as amazing as the Italy 1992 to 1994 kit that we got, but it is significantly better than the previous AC Milan kit that we showed off just now. It's a 9 out of 10 for me, only losing points to the crooked official garment tag. Onto the club whose colours I bleed, Chelsea Football Club. Here we've got the stunning away kit from the 2012-13 campaign, and you can see a little bit of disappointment on my face as I've noticed a little bit of a flaw, but we'll get to that in a bit. Regarding the kit itself, it's actually one of my all-time favourite kits from my club. I just really love the simple design of the light blue stripe running diagonally across the kit. And it just reminds me of the days when we used to have one of the most talented attacking trios in Mata, Hazard and Oscar. The makeup material of this rep are fine. The material is a little bit on the thinner side, but it does feel quite silky and nice on the skin. However, the flaws on this kit include this little bit on the club crest where it looks as if a little bit of like the top left side has been snipped off. The colours on the 3 stripes on the shoulder are a little bit off. The gradient should be stronger coming in from the collar, and it should be matching the color of the collar itself. And now for the most noticeable error. The spacing in between the C, A and R on the name set is a little bit too wide. And when I say a little bit, I mean, well, it's gap. There's a gap in between the C, the A and the R, and now it just reads like OSC AR. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Anyway, the price is what you think it is on Jersey JJ. This kit doesn't actually sell as high as all the other kits that we've been looking at. It is a bit of a more recent kit coming from the 2010s, and they seem to go for cheapest around 50 AUD, all the way up to 400. Overall, this rep is good, it's not amazing, but it does have a few flaws that kinda knocks off quite a bit of points. The badge is probably only noticeable upon closer inspection. The gradient on the shoulders, most likely no one will really notice, but that gap in the name set, that's just a huge disappointment for me. But overall, it's kinda okay. I think I'll just give it a 6 out of 10. Moving back to the national teams for now, we've got the Spanish 1994 away kit, which was used during the 1994 World Cup campaign. This kit follows one of my all-time favorite kit templates from Adidas, of the geometrical diamond patterns running down the right side of the kit. It looks like they've only used this kit once, as I can only find photos of them using it against their match against Italy. The make of the kit looks decent, they've got the geometrical patterns pretty spot on, the colours look good as well. However, I've got a few questions about the badge. The border surrounding the Spanish crest looks kinda like a box with rounded edges, instead of a more circular border. I mean, even Jersey JJ's display image shows it as like a round border. But yeah, while we're here, price at the time of recording, also 112 yuan. I can only find 3 of these being sold online, 2 for relatively cheap under $100, and the most expensive being a $250 one. I'll give this an 8 out of 10. The noticeably wrong border of the badge drops 2 points for this. Staying in Spain, we have their 1998 home kit. Another beautiful Spanish kit used for their 1998 World Cup campaign. It's a shame that the Spanish national team as a whole was never really considered that great until 2008, as they've got some incredible kits in the 2 decades before that. The 1998 kits being one of them. Now for me, this is one of those kits that I feel like I've fallen in love even more after seeing it in person. The La Roja red with the dark navy blue and the yellow highlights just look so good together. The material quality of this kit as well is really good, almost on par as the Italy 1992 to 1994, but unfortunately we've got quite a noticeable flaw here. I'll just leave a photo of the color for you guys to compare yourselves. Price on Jersey JJ? 112 yuan, just like everything else. Most resellers seem to be pricing this one around $200, but some can be as low as just over $100, and it'll be as high as 350. This rep kit should have been a 10 out of 10, as the make and materials were great, the club crest and Adidas badge were placed on properly, and the name set looks pretty good as well. The collar actually fits really nicely upon wearing, but it's just a shame that the center of the crest, including the FEF crest, is not recreated well. As I said, it should have been a 10 out of 10, but I'll have to give it an 8, just like the previous Spanish kit. Moving on to another classic AC Milan kit, we've got their third kit from 2000 to 2001 season. I was not able to find that many photos of this kit used in matches online. It is a third kit after all, but typical of AC Milan, it is a clean alternative strip for them. The red highlights on the black canvas just look so good. This is a pretty good replica. The material and the make are relatively good. The placements of the patches, badges and sponsors look great as well. And I'm glad to confirm that just like the special away kit, the opal sponsoring is made out of felt. Although there's a slight part of within the P that's kinda chipping off. I had to get a player that all us Chelsea fans wanted to succeed at Stamford Bridge, Andriy Shevchenko on the back. But I'm not sure if it's just me, but there's a little bit of a wider gap in between the V and C and the K and O compared to all the other letters in the kit. The price on Jersey JJ, as you can imagine at the time of recording, is also 112 yuan. It doesn't look like there's a lot of these kits being resold online either, with the lowest going at around 250 AUD to the highest at 350 AUD. The kit as a whole is fine, the materials are good, the make is good. The only thing that irks me is those little gaps in between certain letters in the name set. But on first glance, I don't really think there's that much wrong with this kit. I think I'll give it like a 9.5, I guess. Onto our second last kit of the haul, we've got the England 1990 third kit. This was a magical England kit, but it was only ever used once during a European qualifier match against Turkey in 1991. It was also the game in which Dennis Wise scored his first and only England goal, and I would have gotten his name on the back, but as it was just a qualifiers match, they didn't actually have the names on the back, just the numbers. This rep looks good. They've got the patterns and the graphics pretty spot on. However, the England crest doesn't really look or feel as good quality, and the material of this kit is definitely on the much cheaper side. But overall, visually, this rep looks pretty good. If you haven't yet already realized, all the retro kits on Jersey JJ are 112 yuan, and considering this kit is quite sought after, the average price for this kit is 600 AUD, going as high as 840 AUD, and the low ranges would be around the 400s. Unless you're getting a score draw replica, those are around the $100 mark. As I said, visually this rep is pretty good. Material quality is alright, but I don't see anything wrong with the make of the kit, and they've recreated the patterns pretty well. I would say this is a 9 out of 10, as a replica. And the 12th and final kit of the haul is the Brazil away kit from the 2004 World Cup. Now this, alongside the iconic yellow home kit, is one of the most recognizable football kits around the globe. Worn by Brazilian superstars of the 2000s, by the likes of Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Adriano, Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Kaká, and so many others. So why was this the least impressive out of all of them? The Brazil text should not be as wide as the Brazil crest itself, and the player number at the front is a little bit too small. The Brazil crest itself is a little bit wonky, and the white fabric around the collar is just wrong. It should be following the line of the collar and then curving down towards the shoulders. The swoosh on the left sleeve isn't done right either, and the name set at the back is not really following the line of the white fabric. As you can see, there's a much wider gap in between the middle of Ronaldinho's name than at both ends. The front of the collar also feels really weird upon wearing. It's like really tight around the collarbone area, and unfortunately it's just not the most comfortable thing to put on. It's the same price as everything else we've seen in this video, and the authentic ones being resold online go for around as low as under $100 to at most $360 that I've seen. Now this is what you'd expect the quality of a replica kit to be, but considering almost everything that we've seen in this video so far, and this kit being one of the most iconic kits, I find it a bit strange that this one was not up to the standard as everything else. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to end this video on a low score, 2 out of 10. Especially in comparison to some of the amazing replica kits that we've got in this same haul. Anyway, that's all the replica kits that we'll be looking at in this video. I do have a lot more kits coming in from Jersey JJ, as I've made a couple of massive purchases from them. And those will be for another video that I'll upload hopefully in the future. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you are one of the 3,000 people still subscribed to this channel for some reason, thank you for sticking around, I guess. It's been a while since I last uploaded a video, and I don't even know what kind of content I'm doing anymore. But if you're new around here, thanks for stopping by. I've not recorded or edited a video in a very long time, and this just kinda reminded me how fun it is. But yeah, as I said, I've got a bunch more kits coming in, and I'll definitely be doing videos for them. So feel free to stick around if you're interested in seeing the next video. Anyway, I hope I didn't just waste 20 minutes of your time. So thank you, and goodbye, I guess.